We love to hear from you, and posted on Threads from Just a Gale, and this is legit. She said, how is everyone else's day going? Anything exciting you want to share? I'm looking for anyone suffering arthritic or chronic pain, as I found a healthy way to perform regular tasks without crying. And so I said, is it Sierra Sil? And she posted, yes, Erin, it's Sierra Sil, and I feel 100% better today than when I first started. Better sleeping habits and performing my daily duties. Gail, see, this is why we love Sierra Sil anti-inflammatory, all-natural capsules and spray and even dog treats, real results. Don't miss out on a new way to experience the new year.
Check them out online, sierrasil.com. Sierra, like the mountains, SIL.com. And you'll get 10% off using the code GF.
Episode 108. Welcome, and we promise that we are not breaking up. I'm Erin Davis.
I'm Lisa Brandt. Yeah, divorce day just passed, and it resonated in Ottawa, and we won't go there too much, but it also has some logical reasons coming off the holidays.
Yes, it does, and we're going to talk about Divorce Monday in Canada. Also, the whole idea of dieting and why it has to stop. Not healthy eating, but dieting. I think the word is grace that we're looking for. And we're going to look into the anti-diet book, plus cutting ourselves some slack.
Yeah, including a personal trainer who says, just do that. Cut yourself some slack and just get moving. That's the most important thing, not getting rock hard abs, or in my case, one giant ab. But
see, no. Would you allow me to talk about you like that?
No.
There you go. So don't you either, okay?
All right.
All right. Hey, great news. Lisa made a cheesecake.
That
Your
was
cheesecake
edible.
Worked. Yes.
One that was edible.
Last week it was slop, and this week was not. So it worked. What did you do differently this time?
I followed the recipe better.
What?
And, it did have some processed foods in it, but not as much as, one that would take 36 minutes off your life. And I'll tell you what that is. And the antidote just may be cheese.
Again, the what? Come on. Okay, this is great. I can't wait to get to it. And the neat thing is you are listening to us because you want to, not because some secret device in your home is listening in, because it would probably send you an envy pillow. It would.
Yes, the secret device knows all, and so does Envy Pillow, because Kim and Kathy have done the research and they're in the business, both being nurses, Kim having a long history with plastic surgery, knowing how to keep the face from being wrinkle-free. I was just reading about somebody at the Golden Globes saying that the night before, she sleeps on her back because she wants her face to not be wrinkled. Well, if she had an Envy Pillow, she could get more comfortable. She could still sleep on her back, but she could also move to her side a bit and do a few other things that wouldn't be as, stiff and uncomfortable.
Yeah. If it's Nicole Kidman, I'm telling you, if I'm married to Keith Urban, I'm sleeping on my back too, just in case. In case he falls over. Find out more about the Envy Pillow. It's Envy, V-Y, because it's got a little V shape in it, and it really is all that. Go to envypillow.com and say the code GF for 10% off.
Keith Urban, extra order.
So, no news in Canada this week. Nothing going on at all to talk about, Lisa. What are we going to talk about? Flowers?
Nothing going on whatsoever. The headlines, it's so funny when the Prime Minister first said he was going to resign as Liberal leader. All these headlines around the world said, Trudeau resigns as Prime Minister. And it made it sound like he walked up to a microphone and said, F you, like his own anti-Trudeau flag, and then left. And, there's a little more to it than that. He stays on until somebody new is picked. But wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting next 3 months. But this is huge after 9 years.
Yeah, and it strikes me as a little bit Biden-ish, like he didn't read the writing on the wall for the longest time and then all of a sudden goes, yeah, you know what? maybe you're right. But anyway, it's time for a change, so we'll see.
Yeah, but the comparisons really do end there because it's not just going to be someone who is just jettisoned into the position who's expected, right? There's going to be an actual race.
Yep.
But you mentioned the F. Trudeau flags, and I'm certainly not the first person to say this now because it's Thursday and this happened Monday, but my first thought was, oh no, what's everybody going to do with their little F. Trudeau flags? No. Wait.
And, another business goes under.
Thanks, Trudeau.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that piece from the end of the year from This Hour Has 22 Minutes where Mark Critch was with Trudeau unveiling this big black flag and all you could see was UCK Trudeau and Trudeau's going, oh no, you guys, come on. And it was good luck, Trudeau.
Too funny. Yeah, he's been well aware of everything that's going on. That's for sure. It's not an easy life, so.
It isn't. And you know what's kind of coincidental about it all is that Monday was officially Divorce Day in Canada.
So I'm just going to take a stab at this.
Okay.
Is this because people keep it together over the holidays and then say, okay, we've thrown out the wrapping paper and now we can tell everybody we're done? Is that what happens or not even close?
Well, yeah, you're not just close, you're dead on.
Okay.
Because how it happens is the new year is the beginning of people kind of looking at a dysfunctional marriage. They have spent uninterrupted, for the most part, 2 weeks together, no work, no other obligations. Plus you add the weight of all of the family things you got to do and all of the stress that brings up. And at some point, some couples just throw up their hands and say, that's it. Yeah. I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. And the reason we know it's Divorce Day is that divorce lawyers apparently see the most calls on the first Monday after the holidays in Canada.
Wow. I remember when we were kids kind of wishing that our parents would split up.
Wow.
I don't know if how common that is, but I think when your parents fight a lot, you kind of think it would be nice to not have that happening in your house.
Yeah.
The fighting and the yelling, and that's not a fun way to grow up. My dad tried to leave once, and I don't feel guilt about it anymore, but it still makes me sad that I basically hung onto his leg and cried, and he changed his mind. You could tell in his demeanor. I can still see his shoulders slump, and it's like, okay, I'm going to stick this out. Yeah, it was a pretty dramatic moment, but we knew we'd end up with Mom, and Mom was afraid of the economic ramifications, but my dad would have taken such good care of us. We know it. But that was their thing, and they did the best they could with what they had, right?
Yeah, that's what years and years of therapy and, looking back, not wishing for a different story, but just accepting what is, will do for you. And psychologists do weigh in on this, and they say with kids, the most important thing is to sit them down and make sure they know that it's not because of them. Did you ever have a thought that your parents were fighting because of you?
No.
Oh, good.
No, we knew it was because of the two of them. That's funny, though. I'm laughing only because it's like, where did that self-esteem come from? Because I never had it in any other aspect of my life.
Right?
No, it never crossed my mind. I don't think it crossed my brothers either.
I think you should think about that, Lisa. Daddy drank because you cried.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, we can laugh now because we know better. But can I tell you a story of one of the worst episodes of me putting my foot in my mouth?
Oh, please.
I thought I was funny and nobody gets me. So Lauren brings us her boyfriend to meet him for the very first time, and he would go on to become her husband. And we're sitting there in this restaurant together and trying to get to know each other. And I asked about his parents, and he said they were divorced. And I looked at him and I said, was it because of you? And at the time, Lauren got me. And now that I'm watching Gilmore Girls, I think, well, of course, Rory would have totally just looked at her mother and gone, Mom, and Lorelai would have laughed because that was her sense of humor. It was our sense of humor, very dark, very Larry David kind of ish. But I found out years and years later just how hurt he was by that. And I thought, oh my God, you didn't know me well enough.
No, and he wasn't where you are, right? In his journey, probably. Oh, man. I think that's hilarious. But yeah, I could see where somebody, maybe when you're first meeting them, but.
Yeah, that's one of those things you want to take back.
Yeah, but then you're also letting him know who you are right from the outset. And if I'm going to be your mother-in-law, this is what you're in for, honey. So you may as well get it right from the start.
Well, I didn't scare him off, so there you go.
Yeah.
So how are we going to say SIRI through this next discussion without setting off every speaker in everybody's house right now, Lisa? What are we going to call it?
Why don't we call it Granny Smith? Because it's with Apple.
Oh, that's good. That's okay.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking about SIRI, but we're not going to say it so all your devices don't go off and say, what do you want to know? We'll just say Apple. Let's say Apple. Okay. Apple. Granny's listening. That's even more scary, but here's a story that didn't surprise us. Did it surprise you?
No, and we're not Apple people, but we assume that our thing is doing the same thing. Listening in on us even when it's not supposed to.
So now Apple is going to have to pay $95 million to settle a lawsuit accusing Apple of eavesdropping. We saw this in action so many times. I remember being in the studio and we were talking with our mics off about some vacation destination because we always gave away trips, right? And not 2 minutes later, an ad came up from Expedia or somebody like that with a trip to this location. And I went, okay, there's no way this is a coincidence. And guess what? It wasn't.
I'm sure it's not just Apple because we have Billy Joel's daughter. And if you know, you know.
Yes.
The Down and Easter, Billy Joel's daughter. It does the same thing. We will be talking about something and then I'll go on my computer and I'll be followed. I liken it to that bowl of cream of wheat in an old commercial that used to follow the kids around to school because it kept them so full and satisfied. It feels like whatever it is we're talking about just follows us around everywhere. So it can't just be Apple, but Apple's paying up.
So if you thought it was happening, it is happening. So how do we feel about this? Because I guess I'm naive, Lisa, because I don't have any big questions. But wouldn't it be something, going back to the divorce story, if you had your device able to record when your significant other was, making a phone call to their side piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can usually find that stuff out anyway if you want to, can't you? I don't know. I've never tried.
Oh, I haven't either.
I don't really care either because it's not like I'm sitting there giving my bank account and my PIN or anything like that. It's just ads. And I mean, someone very wise once said to me, if something is free, you are the product. We pay for the device. We pay for the computer to get onto Facebook and whatever else, but we don't pay to be on Facebook. That's why I always find it kind of funny when people complain. They go, I don't like this feature. They should take it away. I'm upset. It's like, you're on here for free. You're using this thing for free. You've integrated this thing into your life for free. And they're going to do what they want because they're selling your information. Or the quizzes that go around.
Oh, yes.
What's your mother's maiden name? I bet it's not this.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff where information is being gathered. And so you do have to be kind of smart about it. But at the same time, I don't think I'm saying anything that's of any consequence. It's not like we're about to say, oh boy, I hope the person who's house sitting remembers the key is under the mat, or something like that. Maybe I'm naive too.
Well, you just made a good point about bank numbers because Rob had a card compromised on our way down here. And we got that dreaded text, the legitimate one, not all the ones that are fake, saying, please get in touch. And during that conversation, of course, we either had to punch in our number or speak it aloud, and then they want to know the number on the back of the card. Lisa, if somebody's listening to that, that's, a potential gold mine depending on who's listening into whose card.
Right. And you never do something like that on public Wi-Fi or anything like that. But I would think that you were aware, right, of whether anybody was around.
Well, you know what's funny? I got a call, too, because our cards are so intertwined. And then it was a voicemail. So I called the voicemail and I started with the woman and I said, you know what? This is going to sound really paranoid, but I don't want to continue this conversation. I want to go back and call the number on the back of the card rather than the number you gave me. And she was really good about it. She said, no. We appreciate it. We encourage people to be careful. Go ahead and call back. It's quiet around here. You'll probably get me again. But my blood ran cold just for that moment because you and I read about, we talk about, we blog about being so careful. And there I was responding to a text, which I was quite sure was legitimately from my bank. But Lisa, I took a step back and started all over just out of an abundance of caution/paranoia, and they were fine with it.
Well, I would think they would be happy that, finally we have one who gets it. Can we clone her to remind everybody else to be a little bit paranoid? So that's your clue right there. They're not resistant to it. You were dealing with the right people, but I think that's smart. That's only smart.
We can try. There's so much going on. And going back to what you said about, what was your mother's maiden name? I bet it wasn't this. The number of posts that say, my first car was a Datsun. What was yours?
Yeah.
Because so often your first car is a security question. So please, please, please be careful answering those fun, but really tricky and fishy posts. And again, as you said, Lisa, and it was so brilliant, if something is free, you are the product.
Yeah, I forget who said it, but I always remember that every time something is free. Even these apps, the games and everything. You just need to watch yourself.
Speaking of things that are free, I don't think our listeners are the product to Gracefully and Frankly, but of course we do have sponsors, and we let you know about Sierra Cell and about Envy Pillow. That's pretty much to be expected. And if I can, what I love about our podcast, I've been listening to so many podcasts down here, is that it doesn't interrupt the content to go to commercials.
Right.
I mean, we're so lucky.
Yeah. And it's funny when you listen to enough podcasts or watch enough or whatever, you kind of almost get used to it. You wait for the 5 seconds to hit next or whatever, or you have to sit through it. But it is a delight to find one that isn't like that. And we had the opportunity to do that, and we would have no control over where the commercials were, right? And we said no because, they were going to line our pockets a bit, but we didn't want that to happen. All of a sudden, we're halfway through a sentence and intruder alert, or whatever it was going to be.
I'm Ryan Reynolds, and this is why you should switch to Free Mobile or whatever the hell it is. I don't even know what it is, and they're not a sponsor. So anyway. Okay, podcasts. So I've been listening to and reading about the anti-diet book.
Yes, I'm fascinated by this because this is where I want to go, Erin. I would just love to be able to live life and not think about food all the time and be planning and cutting carrots. And
yes.
Tell me what you're learning.
Well, it came from Anne Lamott's annual piece on not dieting. And in the comments, somebody said the anti-diet book by Christy Harrison is everything. And you and I both have been on a keto journey for the past, for me, it's been 2.5 years. And you joined along somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I did it for a while and I had some success and then just went low carb just to sort of maintain.
And what Anne said was she would tell her therapist she's starting a diet. And her therapist said, how much do you want to gain? And the reason was because diets just do that. You go on, you lose it, and your body brings back the amount of weight and then some. Right. And we know this. It doesn't make sense, but we know it. Some of the things in this book that have resonated so much with me because I realize now I have an eating disorder. You've seen this because you've looked at me and just shaken your head. The fact that I weigh myself once a day maybe and sometimes twice on 2 different scales because sometimes one is lower. And I've been doing this my entire adult life. We had role models who were very much conscious of their weight. I realize, of course, and I've said this before, I was a terrible role model for Lauren. But right now, people between the ages of 20 and 45 65% of them have an eating disorder, an unhealthy relationship with food, whether that means binging, anorexia, counting calories, counting fat grams, counting carbs in our case, doing all that net carb math. And honestly, when you step back and look at it, and this program that I've been on, that you've been on, this whole keto thing, if fruit is your enemy, what the hell is wrong with you?
It's true. It's way too restrictive, and it's stuff that comes from the earth or from a tree is not bad. But when a lot of people hear anti-diet, what their brain tells them is, oh, so everybody's just supposed to get as fat as they want and lumber around and be unhealthy and all that kind of stuff, because we have been it's just woven into the culture that we are supposed to. All of us women stand around a buffet going, oh, well, I don't eat sugar. Oh, really? Well, I don't eat that. Oh, well, I don't eat that. Oh, I wish they had this because I don't eat that. And we act like it's normal, and it's not.
No, it isn't.
And yet I'm in it too. It's not like I'm outside of it either. I'm right in the thick of it too.
Yeah. And the more I read about it, and I'm listening to her podcast now, and again, the name is Christy Harrison, Christy Harrison. I'm wondering if your childhood trauma that we talked about in an earlier episode, which involved a family friend, led you to this, because as a child, there aren't other things that you can escape to. You can't start drinking, you can't start doing drugs or anything to escape the trauma, but you can control what you eat.
And that's a very good observation, because when I was a little kid, of course I ate whatever I wanted and nobody was restricting my food, and I was always active and healthy and fit. And it wasn't until I was about, 10 years old or so that I started to gain weight. And maybe that's why. There are all those things. I mean, how deep do you want to go into why a person binge eats or chooses what they want or decides that something is bad and something else is good, and like fruit, bad.
Right. How can that be? How can fruit be bad, So it is a whole Pandora's box here that we threaten to open, but it's kind of doing a shift in me, along with the let them theory, the anti-diet thing. And I think what a lot of it has to do with is grace.
Yep.
Cutting ourselves some bloody slack after a lifetime of answering to everybody else, including the scale or scales.
I don't know how I found this fitness trainer on Instagram, but somehow he came to me.
Probably your speaker was listening.
Maybe, or some video came up anyway, and I liked it, and I follow him everywhere now. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. It's Michael Ulloa, Ulloa. So he's in the UK, and he does fitness training online. So he's got clients in every country. And his whole attitude is, who says walking on a treadmill isn't as good as running outside? Don't be an idiot. He says, I'm a personal trainer. I eat cereal for breakfast. I skip workouts when I'm tired. No, I don't want to do an ice bath. Fasting is overrated. Eat whatever you want. Metabolism reset, liver detox cleanses, they are all BS. And he also says things like, we could all do the exact same workout and we'd all not look exactly the same, like we're different people with different things. And he wants people to get active and have fun and not put all this pressure on themselves to try and attain some sort of perfection. So he'll play a little video of one of those rock hard guys who's like, you can look like me and be ripped in 6 weeks if you just eat only egg whites and work out 7 hours a day, and I'll show you how for just $29.95 a month or whatever.
Right, yeah.
So he'll play the video and then react to everything the person says, and they're hilarious. Mm-hmm. And the other thing he'll say is, stop putting coffee up your butt. He keeps finding coffee colonic videos and playing them and saying, what are you doing?
That's one I haven't tried, but at least I know it shouldn't be hot. Go on.
Yes, iced coffee only.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I really like him. Again, his name is Michael Ulloa. He's over in the UK, and he's just sensible, and he makes me want to get up and move, which is all he's trying to do, is inspire people to move.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
And you know what? There's so much free stuff out there on YouTube. Just put in 10-minute workout. It doesn't have to be your life. It's the getting off the couch thing.
You know what I do sometimes is either get a song I really like and put it on YouTube and dance like a maniac.
Good.
Or I go back to the 20-minute workout. You can find those sometimes. And they have those 80s outfits that they're in with the leotards and everything.
Oh,
and
don't forget my leg warmers, please.
leg warmers, absolutely. And sometimes do those workouts as well, because those are just universal. They're never going to go out of style.
Right. Have we contradicted ourselves here, talking about the rigidity of dieting and then just suggesting getting active? I don't think so. I think it goes hand in hand.
I think getting active is a key to health. It's one of the keys to being healthy. So even just doing your 2,000 steps, which is fantastic, is a great idea. I mean, this personal trainer isn't saying you have to do 300 push-ups. You have to do all this stuff. It's more about just getting up and moving your butt. Yeah.
Again, back to that amazing grace, just doing it. I love that.
Oh, I love to be an Oscar Mayer wiener.
How do you feel about hot dogs, Erin? Do you eat a hot dog once in a while?
Yeah.
Everyone would be in love with me.
That was funny.
So where are you going with this hot dog thing, honey?
Well, there's a study out of the University of Michigan, and Derek loves hot dogs. There's only two of us here. If I happen to cook hot dogs, if I don't freeze them, we've got hot dog mania going on, right? So they found out, they did this research into processed foods that contribute to heart disease, high blood pressure, and some cancers. Now, this is only if you eat them regularly. Like if you have a diet of hot dogs, you got bigger issues.
Yeah.
So they decided that a hot dog was probably the worst thing you could eat. It takes 36 minutes off your life, okay?
Yeah.
Now, granted, those are the minutes at the end.
As Dennis Leary says, yeah, the bad ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a hot dog, 36 minutes. Eggs, 13 minutes.
Come on, no.
I know. I find that to be a little suspect, but hey, I'm not a scientist at the University of Michigan, and I'm just telling you what they said. A Coke, regular Coke, 12 minutes. Cheeseburger, 9 minutes. Bacon, 6 minutes. But other foods add time to your life.
Good. This is what we need to hear. Okay.
Right. So like salmon, sardines, and some other fish can add 32 minutes. Cheese can add time to your life expectancy and help prevent liver cancer. So if you eat a hot dog and subtract 36 minutes, have salmon with cheddar, and it'll balance out, and it's a wash.
No. I'm getting the salmon out of the story, and we're just going to put a bunch of cheese on the hot dog.
I love it.
Well, it's all about cutting slack, right?
That's right.
The eggs, though.
I know.
That's a head scratcher. But, egg marketing had such a lot of money when we were growing up, right?
Right. And I remember in Wingham, the Egg Marketing Board came out with 3 eggs a day is okay.
Oh, geez.
Reports on that for days and days. And I wondered how much egg money was floating around there. But, yeah.
Yeah, big yolk. Well, it's more stuff, more rules, but things just to keep in mind, like the U.S. Surgeon General last week saying, finally, because those of us who've struggled with alcohol know everything bad it can do. Yeah, we know the good stuff, but the bad now is it does cause cancer.
Yeah, and so this is a desire to put cancer warnings on the labels, right? It's not actually necessarily going to happen yet, but hopefully it will go through if cooler heads prevail. It's just...
Oh, come on. Do you know what's happening this month? Cooler heads are not going to prevail.
I'm pretending it's not happening.
Okay, good. Yay.
It is true that it does, like if you have a little bit, it's not a big deal. I think back when we talk about booze or hot dogs or anything like that, there was a man, you probably remember the story, he had 3 or 4 bags of microwave popcorn a day. For years. And he tried to sue Orville Redenbacher because he got lung cancer. And it's like, they say everything in moderation for a reason.
Yeah, and the recommendation is 1 drink per day, not a fishbowl. They're talking about 2 ounces of the hard stuff or 5 ounces or 6 ounces of wine, whatever it is. I never got that concept, just bigger glass. 2 per day for men. So 1 per day for women, 2 per day for men. And as we know, people think about alcohol and its damages to your liver, but not to your heart and not to the rest of your body. And it's just reaffirming to see it out there from a real authority.
Yes.
But, you know, Big Booze has more money than egg people. So there's no way they're going to get a cancer warning on the label.
By the way, what is happening later this month? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Oh.
Well, January 20th, Lisa, is Dr. Martin Luther King Day.
Excellent.
And that's all you need to know.
That's all I'm going to focus on.
Okay. Hey, let's focus on a wonderful voicemail we got this week.
Yeah, this is from Barb in Ontario, and it came through Facebook. Open up a Facebook Messenger, send us a message, and there's a little microphone there. Barb hit the microphone and recorded this for us.
Hi, Lisa and Erin. I'm a faithful listener, and I've been on the GNF journey with you since episode 1. You make me laugh, sometimes cry, along with you as you both openly discuss everyday things with compassion and humor. So a few weeks ago, Erin mentioned a Stephen King book she'd read recently called 11/22/63. And her description of it inspired me to pick up a copy, and man, is it good. I'm about 3/4 of the way through it and just had to thank you for the suggestion. You two are like the gift that keeps on giving. Thank you so much for all the laughs and the humanity you bring to my life every week. Have a great day.
Oh, that's just terrific. Thank you, Barb. And of course, go to our Gracefully and Frankly Facebook page, or you can email us at gracefullyfrankly@gmail.com. And we just love to hear from you. Thank you so much. That was neat.
Yeah, a fellow reader. Oh, pendants are back. Pendants are back. We have pendants back in the Gracefully and Frankly boutique, which is linked to the Facebook page as well.
Oh, because we had the supply issue with Canada Post.
Yes, and they were coming from England, and the tracking was broken, and I thought, oh no, they could be anywhere. And then all of a sudden it magically reappeared. This week, a lovely man appeared at my door and handed them to me. So there you go.
I bet you could have hugged him.
I really could have. I was so excited. He was kind of looking at me like, lady.
Yeah.
I don't care. Dance like everyone's watching, Erin. That's my motto.
Well, that's the case with all of the Ring cameras and stuff anyway, but yay, okay, they're back and you've got the earrings paired with them. We do.
Yes.
I give Lisa all the credit because she's sourcing. You've made the earrings so they exactly match the pendants, and it's very cool. And of course, Valentine's Day coming up, and you can show your love to family members as well as your significant other. If it's a he may not want to wear them, but you could just say they're a gift to yourself.
The best kind.
Once again, thank you to Sierra Sill and to Envy Pillow for being here with us, and to you most of all, and hope you will be again next week. I'm Erin.
I'm Lisa. Thanks so much for being here.
Bye.